To my knowledge, that's all the information that I have. I did put up the extra show that Dylan talked to me about, Guys Without Purpose, Without Duty, that make catastrophic and chaotic choices. We have that show posted up on the YouTube channel, so I'm going to be covering that coming soon. Then we are going to, because we got the rest of the week lined up already, all the way to Sunday. We got that all the way up there. So with that being said, make sure that you guys take the opportunity to like and subscribe, because while we always go live every night of the week, we do not let the sun rise without going live, but we do not always start on time. So we ask you guys to not only like and subscribe, but also hit that notification button. Since we have talked to you guys, how you doing, Battle Zone? Since we talked to you guys Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday about your business and finance, we give you guys information about how politics impacts your money, which is why we're going to be talking about TikTok, because some people do get paid from TikTok. On this Monday, we talk about how to make money, budget money, to save money, and then invest that money that was saved on Tuesday. So we're going to be doing our dividend rotation strategy for February and March on Tuesday. And then we talk about different countries around the world on Wednesday. That's the one that we didn't put up there yet. We have this Wednesday we have to post up, and then next Wednesday we're going to be doing South Korea. So we're going to be covering a lot of different places so that we know which places we can invest in, which places we can afford to live in, what other financial opportunities that are available for us all over the world, because there's always another way, not just the way that you know, and not just the way that you go. So I just want to make sure that you're always looking for another way. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I give you guys information to help you guys become higher value men in ways like improving your relationships, your personal decisions, personal development, networking, socialization skills, promoting yourself for your job, for raises, promotions, negotiating, pension, salary, severance pay, vacations, and other such stuff, so that you can fix your personal life, because the impact that your personal life has on your finances puts a strain on your employment, whether you are pressured to get raises and bonuses and stuff from your boss, or whether you have to raise the prices on your customer base. All scenarios lead to more stress on the job, where when you don't succeed with making that money, it brings more stress back into the house. So if we can work on both, it allows you guys to improve your overall standard of living, less stress, which gives you more room to focus. Now, tonight, again, we are doing questions and comments from the fans. So I got quite a few comments from some people, and we're going to be addressing them tonight. We're going to listen to what they have to say, and then we're going to provide some decent responses. If you're watching us from Twitter or Twitch, by all means, take your time to comment. Once we start getting TikTok in here, we'll start seeing a whole different ball game full of communicators. It is a multi-brand platform, or a multi-platform brand is a better observation of it. So at some point, we're going to have a large quantity of comments coming in from every different brand, and you're going to see the appropriate ones up here in the comment section, where if you're watching 16 by 9, but if you're watching 9 by 16, it's going to be right there. You'll be able to see the comments that are coming in from other platforms. So the appropriate ones, at least. So we're going to be discussing that stuff. As we hear Noob, I appreciate you coming in. You kind of look like Snoop. Well, Snoop kind of looks like me, but I appreciate it. But as we listen to these comments, we'll be able to provide our responses to these comments. And if you do provide a response for the comment, kind of want to keep it a little bit appropriate. We do have individuals that are not quite of the age of 18 to pop in here. And we will want to keep the comment section, community guidelines clean, especially since we're going to be trying to tiptoe into the new TikTok USA version. That's going to be a little bit tricky. We want to make sure that whatever they got going on with that, and whatever algorithms that got going on with that we not lose, specifically because our audience is a little loose with vocabulary. So we want to make sure that we keep everything on the up and up. So let's go ahead and get things started. Let's start with the first comment we got here.
I used to be extremely mean. I was mean to a lot of people. My friends, my family, and I was even mean to a young kid online for no reason. I was just told they weren't nice and I believed it, which was pathetic behavior from me. I don't want to be that way anymore. I'm a fucking adult. I should be acting like it. Does anyone have any advice?
Uh, well, typically we have situations in our lives that we might feel like is out of our control, and in those situations, we get frustrated. Then, as men, we typically suppress that frustration. We try our best to let it go. We don't always have the courage and confidence and capability to talk to our friends about it, because usually when guys talk to other guys about certain things that start looking a little sensitive, guys start telling other guys to man up, and other masculine challenging comments uh, to motivate you to endure hardship without ever providing you with a solution to get yourself out of that hardship. Some actually can provide you with advice and guidance on how to get you out of that hardship, but a lot of times you don't have the courage to ask for help. We're taught to suck it up, and we're taught not to express ourselves as men, so we do not have the capabilities to vent and explain to individuals that we have problems. And in those situations, uh, when you are suppressing sadness or frustration, anger, you typically find yourself lashing out at other people. What you're lashing out at them for has nothing to do with what you're going through, but to vent some of your anger without having an aneurysm and dying, you lash out at other people. You find yourself very short tempered. You find the simplest comments dumb, and you devalue the person quickly, and you don't have a reason for your behavior, specifically because it has nothing to do with what happened to you. Yes, yes. So what happened was the towers went down 2 days ago because of the snow. So the towers that are powering the show are negatively impacting our ability to be successful right now, because they can't get to them. Two of the cell towers went down. So we are dealing with some very spotty connections this weekend, but we're going to try to get through it. Hopefully, it won't last forever. But it was either that or not go live, and it's a live podcast. So even if I'm doing it at 420p, it's good. I'm gonna give y'all the best I got. That's what I'm gonna do, because it's the whole T-Mobile network is fried right now. So trying to weasel my way through it. But either way, I'm not going to go too fast for you guys so that you don't miss out on anything that I have said. But don't think I didn't see it, because I'm watching myself on the live, and I froze long before you knew I froze, because there's, I think, a 3 to 6 second lag. So you're realizing the lag like a while ago. But don't worry about it. We got it. So um, for the gentleman that wants to know how do you get yourself out of it, first thing you got to do to stop being a dick to everybody is to go somewhere and meditate. You might want to go in a room and talk to yourself for a while, just to hear yourself get it off your chest, scream into a pillow. I would not suggest punch a wall, because you can either break your knuckles or put a hole in the wall, and if that's not your house, you're going to have to pay for the damages. Somebody's going to have to pay for the damages, because if you don't own it, if you rent it, the damage deposit uh, is going to be gone when you put a hole in the wall. But you can put your mattress or your pillow or something like that, but just be careful about that. You go to a therapist, talk to a therapist about it, get it off your chest. Once you get the things that are frustrating you off your chest, you're going to have a longer fuse, and less things will piss you off, and then you won't be so mean to other people. So that would be my recommendation to help you get started. All right, let's go ahead and touch base with the next one.
I love my husband so much. I hope he divorces me. Basically the title. I love my husband. He's so amazing. Genuinely one of the kindest, most caring people I've met. We met in college and have been together over 10 years, married for over 3. Overall, we have a great relationship. When we got married 3 years ago, I knew I had mild endometriosis. I hustled our wedding along because I didn't want to risk fertility issues. I'd had surgery and didn't want to waste time. Started trying to get pregnant at 28. Nothing, medicated cycles, another surgery, IVF egg retrieval, 2 failed transfers, ectopic, and now another retrieval that looks like shit for no reason.
Wow.
Oh, and he is perfect sperm. Could have knocked up the whole neighborhood by now. I hope he divorces me. I think it all the time. I keep briding it up, and he always
Ugh.
gets upset and says no. I ruined his life, and it's so hard. I took the nicest guy I met and ruined his life. Where does someone even go from here? I'm always so overwhelmed. Like divorce and stay friends. I just want him to have the good life and the family he deserves.
Is it over? All
If
right.
you're
Okay.
moving,
Hold on. Thank you, Michael. Time to buy a dog. Look, you've got, if you're trying to have a kid, okay, first of all, you got married. You didn't get married because you wanted to have kids. You had kids because you wanted to have kids. You got married because you wanted to get married. They're not contingent to one another. Now, in the traditional culture, the old-fashioned traditional culture, you're supposed to have sex after marriage, consummate the marriage, have children after having sex, after marriage. But modern 2025, everybody's a hoe. Everybody, men and women alike. Women are smashing, got body counts over 1,000. Men are smashing, trying to beat that. Uh, there are very few, if any, virgins anywhere, and there are very few women with no children over the age of 18. There are a lot of women with children under the age of 18. Okay, so the baby boomers, babies having babies kind of situation, has been that way since like the 70s and 80s and whatnot. So the thing is that if you are in a situation where you married your husband, and like the operations and stuff where you carry the child and give birth to the child is not functioning well, then why don't you just do a surrogate? Why don't you find you a healthy 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old woman that's willing to carry it and pop it out? Just get you a surrogate and have her give birth to the child. Because your body's chemistry may not be suitable for incubating a child. So you could just get somebody else. You can always adopt. Adoption is hard depending on what city and state you're in. You've got to show your whole financial background. You got to do criminal background checks. You got to, if you're self-employed, you have to show the whole structure of the business. There's so much stuff you've got to go through in order for you to get a child through adoption. But if you qualify, you end up with the child eventually. But it takes a while. So, divorcing your partner because you couldn't bear children makes absolutely no sense. If your partner married you for better or for worse, that would technically consider a for worseness part. So I think Michael had a great idea. You could go get a dog, or go get a cat, or get 2 dogs and a cat. That way you got some that you can take with you and some that'll pay attention to you at the house. Something like that. Observation of encouraging your partner to get a divorce, I don't think that's healthy for you. I personally believe that there's a lot of self-esteem issues here that, again, would work well with therapy, but I don't believe that divorcing your husband and becoming friends is the right solution. I think that working it out and getting through it would be the best thing for you. But that was a pretty strange that was a pretty strange situation to listen to. He said, "Donate your eggs." Well, the eggs might be the problem, though, Michael. The eggs might be the problem in and of itself. Uh, so think about this: if her eggs are not suitable for childbearing, it doesn't matter what incubator you put them in; it's not going to work. But I mean, you kind of got to go to some fertility specialists and find out what all is going on, because the fertility specialist is going to help you with the surrogate situation. You know. Now, here's another thing: you're married to him. You want him to be a father. You could allow him to impregnate someone else and not divorce him. That would solve your problem. You get to keep your husband and you get to be a stepmom. I don't condone this for normal relationships, ladies and gentlemen, but it's just the fact that if you can't do it, doesn't mean you don't deserve to be a wife, and it doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be a husband, a mother. If somebody else can do it for you, and you're willing to negotiate the terms of that, let somebody else give birth on your behalf. Then you raise the kid. Everybody should benefit from the opportunity to be parents, no matter what their health conditions are. And you just have to navigate around your health conditions in order to achieve your goals. All right, let's go ahead and touch base on the next one.
I think you should read this. So did I move on? Yes, totally, I can say it with all honesty. However, I accepted that you'll always be there somewhere in the back of my mind when someone doesn't listen to me. I remember the way you listened when I feel lonely. I wish I could just call you. Now I know you'll always be there for me. I know when I call you'll pick up, you'll listen, you'll understand just as well as you used to, but this time I chose not to call. I picked your role in my life. You're the lesson, the anecdote, my 2021 to 2025 wrapped, but you're not the one that got away, because you're not the one. You're not the right person at the wrong time because you were there at all times. You had all the possible timings. I grew up waiting for you to one day realize that you loved me. As sad as it seems, I'd love to be at your wedding, but I won't be the one in white, and at 19 I'm okay with it.
That sounded to me like spoken word. The only thing I can assume here is that you broke up with him and he's marrying somebody else. You're claiming that you're over him, but you're writing poetry about him. So you're not over him. He's getting married and you're going to his wedding. You're not supposed to be wearing white at his wedding since you're not his wife or his fiance. But also, when we start talking about wearing white to a wedding, modern women are traditionally putting on white wedding dresses, knowing that the white symbolizes purity. And these hoes been clapping cheeks since they was 16 or younger. They're not one woman in Western culture should have the audacity to put on a white, off-white, vanilla, high yellow dress. If you got more than one, your dress should be black, brown, green, gold, not even silver, too close to white. If you got more than 5, it should be red. And the more you have over 5, the darker the red. And if y'all know that red be screaming Jezebel, that's what y'all should be doing. That's not what y'all doing. But I'm okay. I ain't gonna knock it. You go out there with a white dress on, chalk white. Shoot. I'm sitting over here looking at you like she's starting her marriage with a lie. But that's okay though, because you ain't marrying me. Now, here's the thing. This little girl, you 19. You done already been ran through. You know you not going there with a white dress on. Your ass ain't supposed to be wearing white. That ain't your damn wedding. So you should be wearing anything but white. Because one, you don't want to outshine the bride. So, bridezilla, these women be getting angry, agitated. On their big day, they be showing some Cruella de Vil type of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Harvey Dent type. Two-faced, it changes. You'd be like, whew. But that's okay though. I understand you've grown a little bit, but not enough to let go. So I respect that. But I don't know to have any other advice for you on that one. So let's go ahead and slide into the next one, because the next one might be a little bit deep.
I accidentally had my baby in my friend's car. Now her husband, and she don't want to speak to me. How do I fix this? I'm very aware this sounds ridiculous, but I'm so tired of worrying about this. I need some outside perspective. This all happened almost 2 weeks ago now. I was almost 38 weeks pregnant then. My partner left for an afternoon to help out her brother, which we were both fine with. She was only a 5-hour drive away, and neither of us saw this coming. And my friend Alice offered to come spend the day with me, so I wasn't alone. Honestly, it was really nice to have her there. We just watched some movies and hung out, and even though I was so uncomfortable through the day, I didn't consider I might actually be going into labor. I had been feeling discomfort for ages. At some point, we did realize this was the real deal, and I called my wife. We considered waiting until she got back, but things started to get real very fast, and I asked Alice to drive me to the hospital. She was fine with this, I think. We didn't fully make it to the hospital, and I ended up having my daughter in her husband's car. We're both fine, luckily. I had a few complications, which are now okay again. Our baby is beyond perfect, and though my wife is having a hard time with having missed her birth, we have a wonderful tiny human to focus on. Things have been really messed up with Alice and her husband, though, and I don't know how to solve it. 2 days after all that happened, I sent her a message thanking her again for everything she had done and told her, lighthearted but sincere, to please send me a bill for having the car cleaned. She didn't reply for a while and in the end just liked the message. I've messaged her a few times since and she hasn't replied, and her husband sent me a message saying not to message her and congrats on the baby, but thanks for fucking up his car. I feel so lost, and please don't get me wrong. Of course my priority is with my little family right now, but this does keep crossing my mind. This is so unlike her. Her husband and I never were the closest. I don't love how he speaks to her sometimes, but still we're friendly. I don't know how to solve this. Did I just traumatize her so much and need to leave her alone? Do I keep trying? I'm so grateful for all she's done that day. Edit. Thank you all for the replies. This is quite overwhelming, so I hope it's okay I do this here. I'm going to try and reach out to her again, but not through text. Or maybe I can ask one of our mutual friends to meet up with her. I don't know yet, but going to try and check in on her in some way. Also, we plan to pay them back since this happened, no worries. Very aware that I messed up their car in a big way. Thanks for all the replies, truly. I got a lot of great advice/insights, and I'm going to figure out my next steps. I've reached out to her and apologized once again for everything I've put them through, both car and trauma-wise, and said once more that I'd really like to pay to fix all of this, regardless of the cost. Or, if they want, I can try to reach out to some professionals and try to sort everything ourselves. Anything to make it right, as well as asking if they want me to rent them something. Though I think my sincerity in my first message to pay everything was clear, I don't want to take any chances. I will add that any other message I had sent her was very serious/worried. I never joked about paying. I feel awful about what I did to their car. I'll make it right, as we were planning to, but try to be more proactive about it. This all has been quite overwhelming, but very needed. She's deleted/blocked me now. I'm at a loss. I'll continue trying to make this right and reach out some places to get some estimates/contact insurance/so on. We're taking this very seriously, I promise.
She lost me. You said call whose wife? Her wife. She was pregnant and her wife wasn't home. And she called her wife to come down, and they ended up, instead of dialing 911 and staying at the house, they done jumped in this woman's husband's car, didn't tell the husband what the fuck was going on, and drove the husband's car part way to the hospital, and then decided to turn that man's car into an NCIS crime scene. Now, that day, called her husband and told her husband what his car was going through. Now, this female over here, the one that gave birth, talk about some, they okay. Yeah, you okay. The baby might be okay. Your best friend might be okay. Your baby mama might be okay. But the car is fucked. And the husband is about to find out about it. You cannot detail a car enough to get that out of the material. You can't. Okay? The internal organs of a female is all over the back seat of this car. Hopefully it is in the back seat and not in the freaking front seat. And you left it there and went to the hospital. And then she, more than likely, left it there and then brought it to the husband. Didn't stop by a detailer to have it detailed before she brought it home. She brought the crime scene home. So he saw it. Okay? Now, your concern is, I'll fix it. Sweetheart, he could take out an insurance claim and they can rebuild the car from the inside out. It is not going to take the internal visions out of his brain of what he saw in the backseat of his car when he got his car back. Okay? You can't fix that. Now, you're wondering why your friend don't want to talk to you no more. Because she's grounded. She fucked up his car and she can't go outside and play with her friends no more. She grounded. What if he keep that car? If he keep it, because he may have to detail it and then sell it and go get something else. Because he not gonna want to do nothing with the back seat of that car, knowing what's been back there. Then the smell not gonna come out of it neither. Talk about metallic smell, make you want to vomit. Just So you keep reaching out to her, and this is where you're making your mistake. He texts you from her phone, do not talk to her anymore. Now, I know everybody grown, and y'all can do whatever y'all want, because he not y'all daddy. But let me be real. The most respectful thing that you can do after you then bled all over his back seat and had your symbol on is to shut the fuck up and leave him alone. Don't text, don't call, don't email, don't show up. Especially if the shit's all over the back of the car still. Leave it alone. Give it a few months. Give it a couple years. Wait till your baby's quinceañera or some shit like that. And if they answer the phone then, or if at any time between now and later when they contact you with the bill, if that happens, then you talk to them. But if they don't reach out to you and you're not buying him a brand new car and leaving it at his house to replace the car that you just destroyed, don't talk to him. Because he is pissed off right now. Because the man was deprived. He didn't have a say in that situation. He didn't volunteer his car. She volunteered his car. And that was actually a bad decision as an adult, because if she, panicking while driving, would have crashed that car with you in it, you could have lost your child. It is important that y'all could have called for help and got somebody to show up in an ambulance. You would have stayed at your house. The same way you gave birth in that car, you could have gave birth in your bedroom. His car would be fine. You didn't have to go nowhere, because that's not her car. That's his car. She could have gotten off. You did not lose medical treatment. This was not an ER situation. You understand? Y'all could have stayed still. Bad choices had bad outcomes that negatively impacted somebody else. So now you just lost your best friend. And you can't fix that. So yeah, like Michael originally said, stop having babies in people's cars. I hope you named that car. I hope you named the baby after the car. That's what you I don't care if the car was a Geo Metro. You named it. If that car was a Civic, the baby's name is Civic. If it was an Altima, the baby's name is Altima. And with that logic, you start thinking when you walk up on a girl whose name is Mercedes. He said it was an act of God taken to a detailer. No, bro, that was an act of stupidity. Giving birth might be the act of God. Technically, it's not. It's a genetic creation of man. But choosing to get in somebody else's car while giving birth instead of calling emergency surgeries to come pick you up or emergency services to come pick you up, that is a poor choice. And a lot of people feel like they can get to the hospital faster than the paramedics. And everybody does it. They know that they're pregnant. They know that they're almost in labor, but they're not quite there yet. They might be late. They might be like 2 weeks away. Instead of them going and checking into the hospital just in case, because some people can't afford that, a lot of times they just wait it out. And then as soon as they've peed all over the floor, that's when they want to get in the nearest vehicle and rush to the nearest hospital and bleed all over whatever vehicle that doesn't get them to the hospital fast enough. Truth is, you started feeling funny, call 911. That's it. That's it. I'm pregnant, I don't feel good, and I don't know what's going on. They'll send an ambulance to come get you. By the time the ambulance would have got there, you would have been in labor. And you could have bled all over the back of the ambulance. But no, you wait until you are already destroyed your living room, and now you want to get into his car and destroy his car. That wasn't an act of God. That was an act of stupidity. Selfishness. That's what it was. That man probably thinking the lack of consideration between you two ladies. She lucky he didn't break up with her. And some women gonna say, "Oh, that's not a reason to." That ain't his woman that's giving birth, and his woman was not supposed to have another woman bleeding all over the backseat of his car. This ain't no Bloods and Crips situation. This is a Boys of the Hood. Y'all gotta understand. I wasn't expecting that, but damn, that was reckless. That was reckless. And y'all can't say y'all wouldn't be just as pissed off if some dude would have took your car, went somewhere, and came back with blood and organs all over your back seat. Talking about some, oops, my bad, I'll pay for the detailing. The first question you gonna ask is, what the fuck did you do? Okay, ambulance and transport will cost $11,000, not including bandages. And replacing his fucking car is gonna cost about the same amount of money, not including taxes. I don't see the difference. If you're willing to pay $11,000 to replace his car, you could have just got an ambulance and he could have kept his car. You could have kept your friend. Well, let's take that to the next one.
I cheated on my girlfriend, but don't remember. What can I do to fix this?
Oh,
First, I need to clarify some things. Me 21 and my girl 25 have been dating for 3 years. We've lived together for 6 months. I started having issues about a month after we moved stations that we had, which I would have no memory of, or I would check the time, and it would be way later than I thought it was. Or I thought I'd have one game in my PlayStation, and it would be a totally different one. Simple stuff like that, which I could jot down to being brain fog. I have a history of depression, and I'm recently unemployed, so I thought it was just the mundanity of everyday life seeping into my brain, or whatever. So I didn't tell girlfriend any of this was happening. Then about 2 months ago, I ended up somewhere I didn't know. Couldn't remember how I got there, or what time of day it even was. I found my phone next to a skip on the opposite side of the road to me. My girlfriend was at work, and I was hyperventilating when I called her. She asked me where I was, and I said that I didn't know. As you can imagine, it was quite disconcerting, and honestly, I was really scared. I sent her my location, and she picked me up, and obviously I had to explain about my memory gaps. She decided it was weird and that I need to see a doctor, which obviously I did. Doctor didn't see anything wrong with my brain or whatever. I didn't really remember, in all honesty. I was very overwhelmed, but Eventually, he referred me to a psychiatrist. She thinks I have bipolar, and that maybe that's what's causing my memory gaps. But mental health isn't an exact science, so we're working on it. Plus, she doesn't even know if this is actually what I have, so... These memory gaps have continued, and GF says it's scary, because she'll have a full-blown conversation with me, and then I'll tell her that the last thing I remember was hours before that. So I guess I act like normal, even though I'm not aware of anything. It's all quite confusing. Anyway, to get to my actual problem, we were out at a club with some of our friends about a week ago. I was staying sober, because alcohol already has an adverse effect on me, think sleepy and giggly, so I was strictly on Diet Coke the whole evening. I was feeling really good and high energy, so I thought I'd be fine, but at some point in the evening I must have blacked out or whatever because I come around in the alley behind the club at about 2 a.m. Me and GF have Life 360, which is like a tracking app for those who don't know, which we got when this started. So I checked it and saw she was at home already. I didn't want to phone her because it was late, so I just booked an Uber and made my way home. I realized I didn't have my keys when I got to mine as I was jacketless. I assume I left it somewhere in the club. I still don't have it, so I knocked on the door. GF didn't answer, so I assumed she was asleep. I decided to call her as I thought that would wake her up, but she hung up immediately. Like she didn't leave it to ring out, she just straight up hung up, so she was obviously awake. I knocked on the door some more until she eventually answered it and told me to be quiet and let me in. I asked why she wouldn't let me in, but she didn't answer me, just stared at me, obviously angry, and told me I was sleeping on the sofa and went back to our bedroom. I was confused, but it was late and I was tired, so I just wrote down that I blacked out again in my notes app. Doctor told me to keep a list of when it happens and settled to sleep on the sofa. I woke up the next day to my friend in an absolute frenzy over text. I asked him what was wrong, and he called me a piece of shit and an idiot, etc. And when I asked him what the hell he was talking about, he just sent me a picture of me snogging some girl in the alley next to the club. Apparently someone from our group saw me and took a photo, which they showed to my GF, which is why she was mad. I have no knowledge of this happening. Like, literally zero. It's not in my nature to do anything like this at all. We've been going strong for 3 years without any incidents, or anything even remotely close to cheating happening. It's something I'd never do. It's the most scumbag thing a person could do, and I would never even dream of it. I thought it was fake at first, or that it was someone else. But it wasn't. I was disgusted. My GF was still in bed. It was the weekend. So I went in there to explain what happened. She didn't believe me at first, but as I explained it more, I guess she knew I was telling the truth. I don't know, but she said she believed me. I told her I was sorry again, and I called my psychiatrist Koss. I need to get this sorted. I've had 3 sessions over the last week, and she's seeing what she can do about getting me on some sort of medication, but she's not sure how long it'll take. It's the NHS, you know. So my girlfriend accepted my apologies and my explanation, and she said things were cool, but I honestly don't think they are. She's more distant with me, and she spends more time at work or with her friends, which is fair honestly, Koss. If I knew she kissed someone, even whilst not in her right mind, I would be a little put off too. I just want some advice on how to fix this. I honestly don't know what to do. I've apologized so much, and I can't keep saying I don't remember, because it's starting to sound like an excuse at this point. My mood has completely tanked, and I'm in bed all day most days, which probably isn't helping the situation, but I honestly don't know how to make this better. Does it just need time? Is there something I should be doing? I'm trying to fix my brain, but I have no idea how to fix my relationship. Any advice would be very much appreciated. Thanks.
Okay. So, let me get this straight. You right, he got mental issues. They're coming from somewhere. It's a good idea to say stop cheating. The problem with that is that if he's not in control of his own bodily functions, he can't really stop doing anything. Um, you say that he's an alcoholic, he could be, but what we have here is, well, you say what? Sounds like everybody today has a psychiatrist on speed dial. I know. And I don't answer the phone when people call because I don't want to be their psychiatrist. um, from what I'm hearing, when you end up in highly stressful situations, you black out. Don't know what triggers it, but the night you went to the club, something about someone you was engaging with caused you to black out. Whatever your body did on autopilot is what your subconscious mind would have done, which is why your body was doing it. You can't say that you're not a cheater and you're grossed out about it and this, that, and the third. It's not you. It's not who you are. No, your core self smashed your chick in an alleyway, bro. Whether you remember it or not, your girlfriend can forgive you because that old saying that college boys say on the football team is, "You don't remember it didn't happen," and all this other Me Too stuff. But the truth of the matter is that even if you don't remember it, she remembers it. The person who did it with you remembers it. The person who took a photo of it remembers it. If everybody around you remembers it, it still happened, whether you remember it or not. So being able to take responsibility for the things that you do is probably beneficial for you. One thing that can help you with what you're going through takes a lot of effort. It's going to need some help. Is record everything that you do all day, every day. And you want to keep recording until after an episode has been acknowledged. Then you want to go back to the video from before you blacked out until you came to and look at what happened. Look at what caused you to black out. And then look at what happened when you came to and everything in between. What this is going to do is, one, it's going to show you the other side of you. And then two, you might be able to pay attention to some of your triggers. If a psychiatrist is working with you, they might be able to work on, it's going to be a self-preservation mechanism that is triggered from extreme trauma. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I'm not sitting over here trying to psychoanalyze it. It's just what we would recognize for anybody who's ever taken a psych class in college is that self-preservation, your logic shuts down and your instincts kick in. And when your instincts kick in, you sometimes don't remember all the stuff that you did when you were in that highly hypervigilant scenario. So you'll find yourself not always remembering everything that you did. Sometimes out of guilt because you want to forget anything that you're ashamed of. And sometimes because you completely shut down. Also, there are people who have this ability, like you talk about bipolar, they have some people that have this ability to separate their conscious mind from their actions when they're it's a personal a personality identity disorder where you can't face who you are, so you separate who you are from who you could be. A lot of things have issues with, but that all of that still comes with deep therapy and psychiatry and patience. That's what that's going to come from, a lot of patience. So you wanted to know, how do you fix your relationship? Michael says easier to heart monitor on, it will show on the telemetry. Okay. Monitoring his heart rate, that's another way to do it. So if you're recording your actions and you monitor your heart rate, and the moment your heart spikes, whatever you do after that, if you don't remember it, let's see what caused it. Either way it goes, you're finding the trigger to the blackouts, because something's happening, because they're not happening all the time. Disassociation, exactly. Disassociation. So, but you're disassociating something from what you have done. And my biggest concern with this kind of stuff, I'm going to say Chris Benoit, and y'all going to know who I'm talking about. That's my biggest concern. Because if you can leave the house with your girl, black out with your girl, she not know that you're blacked out, and then you are in a back alley smashing a chick, and when you come to, you are in an alleyway on the ground, missing all your clothes and stuff, and you make your way back to the house. You know what? That's the same type of mentality that can take out everybody in the house in the blink of an eye, like some Kill Bill shit. That is the kind of scenario where we was having Thanksgiving dinner, and then the next thing you know, you blink, and it's the worst crime scene you've ever been in, and you don't know how it happened, but you're the one that did it. I would strongly recommend that instead of you focusing on apologizing to your girl and trying to ask for her forgiveness, that you prioritize what's causing you to not focus on your consciousness. Work on your sanity such that it was. Because even if she forgives you, bro, you cannot guarantee yourself that you won't black out and do that exact same thing again. And just like you said, saying I don't remember is not acceptable. It is starting to look like an excuse. And it is not a good excuse. Whether it's early signs of dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever the case may be, if you're not remembering what you're doing on a regular basis, you need to focus on yourself. If she's willing to ride that wave with you, appreciate her while you remember it, but you have to find better ways to track your behavior. But Michael, you asked how did they know where he was when he blacks out? What happened was they have the geolocation thing. They track each other and shit. And I guess they started tracking him once he told her that he ain't remembering stuff, and the doctor verified that he actually has a mental condition where he's not remembering things. Like he's losing large quantities of time. Not just forgetting stuff, like he is losing large quantities of time. So tracking him, but that makes him a dependent to his girlfriend, and she's going to resent him for that more than she's going to resent him for cheating. Because if he's not in control of his own functions, he's not in control. Everyone is stacked under the Christmas tree. Bro, the Christmas tree be set on fire with everybody stacked up underneath the Christmas tree. That'd be that'd be some an episode of SWAT or it's crazy, bro. Abby would have a forensics field day on that scenario, because he would be trying to help the police catch the person who did. You know how many movies they have like that on Netflix, where the detective who got into this bad accident and he doesn't remember anything from the accident, and he gets on this case. He's tracking down this cold case. He's trying to find the criminal. He can't find the criminal, and 75% of the movie get through, and you find out he chasing himself. As he gets closer to the criminal, his memories start coming back, and by the time you get to the end of the video, he's chasing himself. That's the kind of crazy nonsense that we dealing with right now. But I'm telling you, it's not good. His girlfriend will dump shit. I'm surprised she ain't dumped him already. And you know what's funny? She probably not even gonna tell him that she dumped him, because she believes he ain't gonna remember that she dumped him. She's just gonna exist in his presence until he realized that she not there. And when he remembered why she left, then he'll notice she gone. I ain't saying that's right, but some people have a really, really strong mantra for revenge. And they be wanting to do you dirty in ways to make you feel as bad as they felt. And for her to catch you in the act, she got evidence of it, and then you the only person that don't know what's going on, bro. Bro. That's worse than getting caught and pretending like it never happened. Like, bro, that had me going through a loop. Let's go ahead and check on the next one.
I want a boyfriend, it makes me sick. Oh my god, I so badly want a boyfriend. I want a boyfriend that's genuinely in love with me and would do anything just to see me smile, respect me, be consistent with me, and actually want me. I've dated before, but they always ended up breaking up with me and were never consistent. I want a slow burn love, where we meet each other and things are awkward, then we slowly start to become friends and be there for each other, slowly realizing we both like each other. I want to go out on dates, drive around with him, kiss him, hug him, do stupid things together without worrying. Then we grow older together until we both have gray hairs and argue over silly things. I just want someone to love and give my love to. I just want a secure man who loves himself enough to love me.
What kind of bullshit? First off, sound like a rom-com. Second off, why the hell your fantasy is that y'all grow old together and you still arguing with him over dumb shit? Then the next thing is, why does a man have to be secure with himself to want to agree to put up with your bullshit? And look, this go both ways, women. Because if I want a good girl and I'm broke as fuck, what kind of man wants an A-class woman and he ain't shit? If she wants a slow burn relationship, pay for all of the dates, schedule the dates at his availability, prioritize his time, prioritize his values, and be the best candidate to be his wife while funding the relationship at your pace. That's how you get that. That's how you get that. But see, if you're sex after the third date, if you're sex on the first night, if you're he got to pay all the time, you ain't getting that. Because after a certain number of dollars, no matter how many dates it takes, after a certain number of dollars, he's hoping to get laid. A lot of guys are hoping to get laid on first contact. You know what I mean? So you want to find a dude that's a slow burn. First thing you're going to do, find a guy that you're not attracted to. Yeah? Be his buddy. Take him out. Pay for him. Convince him to like you. And over time, y'all will go from being best friends to lovers, and from lovers to married. But the one thing you need not do is be arguing with that man. Y'all need to have a boring ass, simple ass lifestyle. You need to have the kind of lifestyle where y'all don't have no complaints. Y'all finish each other's sentences. Y'all know what each other is thinking. Y'all can have a whole conversation with eye contact and react to that shit. Y'all on cue with one another. That's what you should be trying to build. Talking about some we arguing over dumb stuff when we get old. No, that's a toxic relationship where y'all done got used to one another and y'all fight over petty shit because that's the only way that y'all can acknowledge each other. Now, y'all need that. You don't need that. What you need is peace, and what you need is a man that has it, and then you want to bring more of it. Okay? If you find a man talking about something you want to argue in 40 years, I don't even want to talk to your ass today. Because 40 years from now, I ain't trying to argue with nobody. You know what I mean? Even if I'm doing this podcast in 40 years, I don't want to argue with nobody in 40 years. You know? I should have like 5 moderators on here like, you can't argue. Disagreements don't happen here. So I'm just blown away by that. But I understand that you don't want to be alone. That part I do understand. I understand that it's hard to find somebody out here when you have expectations and standards. And I also understand that a lot of people who don't want to be alone start reducing their standards so that they can finally find somebody. But what I also understand is that under no circumstances should you reduce your standards. You need to be proud of being alone, not because, oh, I'm single by choice. No, the fuck you're not. You have not found the person that you want that also wants you. You're not single by choice. No person in life is single by choice. You have not found the right person that you would prefer to have who is also willing to accept you. So your goal is to take your time and do a census. The quality of guy that you look for, you should try to find what those men prefer from their woman. Take notes, right? Because every man is like an open book. What do you want from your woman? If you have one, if you don't have one, what do you want from your woman? If you got one, what do you want from your woman versus what do you get from your woman? Take notes. Common information is factual evidence. If 100 guys tell you the same thing, if 1,000 guys tell you the same thing, more often than not, that's going to be a successful action. So, just like Family Feud, we asked 100 men, and this is our top 5 answers. You do the exact same shit. Now, if you perform that way, you can look at the top 10 things that men expect from their woman, and you decide how many of these you are going to apply to. If you get all 10, you're going to be closer to a 10. If you can get at least 7 of them, you'll be above a 6. Okay. As long as obedience and cooperation are 2 of them, you're going to be all right. Right? So what women have to start thinking about when they, because you should have been doing it when you were younger, but now that y'all middle-aged, 30, 35, 40 years old, 45 years old, what y'all need to start thinking about is not just what you want out of the relationship, because that's important. That is like the number one thing for every person. First person accountability. What do you want to get out of this relationship? But ladies, the second thing on your list is not more shit about you. The second thing on your list should be what you're willing to do for the other person. And what you're willing to do for the other person is what you bring to the table. When you say your education and your career, if you're not going to use your knowledge to make him better, if you're not going to take your finances and make him better, your education and your career means nothing to the relationship. Because most men don't look for it, and a lot of men won't accept it outright. But if you have an A game plan to use your knowledge to back his play so that he's always successful, and you use your finances to invest in the relationship so that the relationship is more successful, not so that y'all live in a higher standard of living when y'all first come together where y'all are still broke, living paycheck to paycheck with 3 jobs between the 2 of y'all, but you are building a retirement plan where the 2 of y'all can quit in 10 to 20 years and spend the rest of y'all life loving each other instead of working to death. That is when you put yourself in a position to use your education and your career as staples of the foundation of the relationship. But if you're doing it as a shareholder so that you can have 51% say over what's happening, that's a control issue, and that's not going to benefit the relationship. Because you can't pick someone to lead and then don't allow them to lead. You can be the leader, but if you want to be the leader, ladies, you need to pick a follower. Okay? But if you want a man to lead, you need to not only pick the leader, but you need to follow the lead of the leader. Not when you feel like it all the time. He tell you go left, you go left. Even if you look left and you see problems, he said go left, you go left. But you're preparing for these problems. So as they arise, you're able to help him solve those problems. But if he say go left and you go right, you do not belong in a relationship. If he say go left and you go back, you do not belong in a relationship. He said go left and you argue with him about how you're right about us going right, you do not belong in a relationship. A lot of women are going to disagree with that. But any woman that cook and clean in the house is not going to want their man to tell them how to cook and clean in the house. Any woman that takes care of her family is not going to want her mother or her husband's mother to come and tell her how to raise the kids and keep the house clean. Nobody in society is going to want someone else to tell them how to do them. So no woman should tell a man how to be a man. No woman should tell a man what they're not going to do. Okay? When you sign up for this, you should have put forth the effort to find out what his mentality was like, to find out what his character was like, to find out what his double personality was like for this fellow over here, so that you know what you're getting yourself into. And you are agreeing to the terms and conditions. When you agree to the terms and conditions, that's when you're in a committed relationship. He's committing. But when he steps up to take on his role, your responsibility is to take up your role, whatever that may be. But y'all should have been establishing that in the first 5 to 10 days. Who's going to be on top? And when are y'all going to alternate? Because he don't always have to be in charge. If you know more about the situation than he do, he can relinquish his control over the situation to you, and you can resolve the situation. But that still requires y'all to communicate, cooperate, negotiate with one another. If that makes sense to you. All right, I think we got another one here. Let's go ahead and test this one.
Blocked her everywhere. Even though she had blocked me a month ago, I had still kept a hope that she will text me back, and today I saw her walking the same path that we used to with another guy. That's it. I blocked her everywhere and deleted everything, and it gives me a new loss which is hurting me again. Tears coming in and heart feels bad. I don't know how to proceed further. This was my hope killer move that she'll never come back so I can get the pain first.
What? Okay, so y'all broke up. She blocked you. And you didn't take that opportunity to move on. You clung to the past. You hoped that she would change her mind and come back. And then when you found her moving on with another dude, now you're accepting the fact that it was over when she blocked you. It wasn't over when she blocked you. It was cremated and buried and filled with cement when she blocked you. It was over while she was dating you. Because typically 3 to 6 months or longer before the relationship ends physically, women emotionally detach from the relationship. They emotionally break up before they physically break up. He said, "Pole baby." No, that ain't no pole baby. That was a dumbass move. And this is a dude that's doing it. That ain't no pole baby. When y'all broke up, y'all knew y'all broke up. Your ex is your ex for a reason. Part of it was whatever the fuck you did to fuck up the relationship, but part of it is whatever the fuck they did to fuck up the relationship. And if y'all broke up recently and she already got another dude, that means that that dude was already here before y'all broke up. I don't care how hot you are. You cannot break up with a man today and be dating another man in 2 weeks. I know some women are like, "Bet I can." If that's the case, you wasn't in love with the man that you was dating the first time. If you was hanging out with him, if y'all was just together for convenience, I told y'all relationships that are made out of convenience don't last that long. If y'all were together and y'all were just hooking up, smashing, friends with benefits, whatever the case may be, and then you started talking to another dude, and that dude now has your undivided attention, you decide you're going to get serious with the other guy. So the guy that you started with, you're going to break things off with him, clean break, block that guy so that no unnecessary text messages interferes with your new relationship. Then you're going to focus on your new relationship. The new guy was already there before the old guy got kicked to the curb. And then the old guy finds you with the new guy shortly after y'all broke it off. That's because that old guy was already, the new guy was there before the old guy left. Don't nobody sell their old car before, you know what I mean? You buy a new car with your old car. You don't, you already got a new car in mind before you get rid of, you know what I mean? He said most women keep a few on standby these days. Shh, you ain't lying. You are not lying. More often than not, you will probably find a single mother in the Philippines that ain't got no man talking to her because she's over the age of 25. Those are the ones that ain't got dudes on standby. 18 to 25, prime real estate. They got 2, 3, 5, 7 guys smashing all the foreigners that fly in. Women in America, their longevity kind of lingers till they're like 28, 30. They start as young as 16. They've got 3, 5, 7, 9 guys. They are encouraging each other with feminism. You go, girl, get your roster. A roster, okay? Do you even know what's in a roster? A roster is like 10, 15, 20. You know, a roster is not one guy on the side. A roster is a list of guys. That is not the first guy. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing right now. And they're promoting it with one another, which teaches the next generation that that's how you're supposed to behave as a lady. And that's not acceptable. Now, women believe, oh, well, men do it. Men reproduce. No, women reproduce. Women are the ones that give the birth. No, men plant the seeds, and the men can, one man can get 365 women pregnant in 1 year. One woman can smash 365 men, but only get pregnant once. Okay? So while one man can have a body count of 365 and have 365 kids and extend his genetic bloodline, one woman can only have one child, if not twins, genetic twins or genetic triplets or octuplets, or whatever, one birth at a time. So his job is to reproduce. That's not the same for her. Okay. And with the high complications of pregnancies and the high complications of births, you've got to be careful about the one that you actually do give birth to. Which is why women always use abortion as an excuse to not have financial responsibility. But that doesn't change the dynamic. You shouldn't have a roster. If you are a woman of value, you do not have a roster. You do not have a guy on the side. And one of the reasons why, and I know some women, oh, he's insecure, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not. Think of the logic here. If you got 2 jobs, how are you prioritizing either one of them? You're not. You're providing just enough attention to the first job that you don't get fired, and you're going to provide just as much attention to the second job so that you don't get fired. Just enough to get by, but you're not employee of the month. You're not triple-double overtime on the first job. You're not 100% dedicated to the one job. When you have a boyfriend and you have a roster, you are emotionally entertaining however many men that are on your roster, which means, because everybody gets emotionally exhausted, men and women alike, everybody gets emotionally exhausted. So that means that you will find yourself emotionally exhausted more often than you are emotionally fulfilled, and you will not have the energy to put into your primary relationship the quantity of emotional attention that it deserves, which means you're ultimately cheating yourself. Because since you are not giving 100% focus to your primary relationship, you are allowing yourself a self-fulfilling prophecy of failure so that you can pull another guy out of the roster. Then you're going to blame the guy who doesn't want you to have a roster and say he's insecure, there's something wrong with his mama when he was a baby, he damaged from his last relationship where she had a roster. The logic behind this is that you should be able to communicate in relationships one at a time. Found her on Tinder. Found her on Tinder. Found her again on Bumble. Found her again on Tag. Got her Instagram, her Snap. And now she's going live on TikTok. Look. The fact is, you need to be able to prioritize the one relationship. Because you got to understand, when dudes be smashing chicks, they will smash one chick at a time. Oh yeah, if two girls want to go to, that's every man's dream to have two girls at the same time. But he can only insert in one female at a time. Even if they both there, somebody's waiting their turn. At the end of the day, when he decides that he's looking for a relationship, all of the other girls that are just jump offs, they disappear. The woman he's focusing on right now gets his priority 100% of the time. When she gets into a relationship, she needs to cut that roster and have. I'm not saying no to two or more. Me neither. I'm not saying no to two or more neither. But at the end of the day, when you're looking for a wife, you're not looking for three wives at the same time. You're looking for one. And the other two is like, you ain't really wife material. You just gonna drop it. You know. Every man's dream is to have 2, 3, 5, 7 at the same time, but it's not at the same time. You can only enter one at a time. I mean, unless you got two in your family collection. If for some reason you were born with 2 Y chromosomes, then that might be interesting to see. But at the end of the day, you're still going to psychologically connect with one person at a time. You're going to emotionally connect with, on the deepest level, one person at a time. Now, you'll always have lust for more than one person. You will always have a bond with more than one person, like family love kind of thing, brotherly love, sisterly love, my homie love. But the person that you're deeply in love with, the one that you would sacrifice your safety for, there's only one of those. There's only one of those. The one that you'll ruin your integrity for, the one that you'll destroy your whole lively for, there's only one of those. And they only come one at a time. Now, you can be in that type of love 150 times in a lifetime, but they're only one at a time, which statistically means you can fall in love 3 times a year, but you're only going to stick with one of them at a time. I mean, if we were in Dubai, we might be able to pick up 2, 3 extra wives at a time. But with 2, 3 extra wives at a time, you'll find yourself in a situation with too many people here. So you don't really want to meet nobody new. You want to finish what you started with, the 5 wives you already got. You know what I mean? Because y'all not only lonely people are thinking about, oh, I be fucking all the time. After a few times, you're going to be tired of these son bitches. You're going to be wanting a room to yourself with all these extra wives somewhere else. Mormons pull it off, right? What cable channel they got? They got natural selection. They don't even have internet a lot of the times. You're talking about the Mormons pull it off. There's no social media in Mormon culture that is distracting them from focusing on their camp. How many Mormon Americans have you met in the last year? Maybe one. I got a Mormon friend. I got 2 black friends. I still think they do stupid stuff. Don't change nothing. The dynamic is still going to be the same. That You have to prioritize your relationship in order for your relationship to be successful. So for the young lady who's single and desperately in need of a relationship, first of all, you have to fix your emotional safety, like your emotional stability, like we've been talking all week. Then you have to do your research and find out what guys would prefer in their romantic partners, and then decide if you want to be that type of person. Then you want to start practicing that type of behavior. When you are performing that role in front of the potential suitors, they will be attracted to that role and they will come and scoop you up. If you want to be a manager, you have to start managing the shift. You want to be a salesman, you got to start selling shit. You want to be a wife, you got to start behaving like a wife where people can see wife material. Because if you're behaving like a 304, you're going to find a bunch of guys that want to smash, but you will not find one guy that want to wife you up. So you have to start behaving like a wife. You'll find a husband that way. We can call it reverse psychology, but you behave like a wife, you'll find a husband faster than just trying to dominate a man and, make him marry you. Because men will throw themselves on marriage like a soldier throws himself on a grenade when there's a good woman present. But you have to carry yourself as a good woman. You have to present value to him. So you really need to, instead of identifying what you want in a man, becoming that, and then saying that you're high value in the dating market, you need to instead find out what other men find valuable and then see if you're comfortable with becoming that. And if you do become that, you will be valuable, because you're not a 10 because you meet all of your expectations. You're a 10 because you meet all the expectations of every man that you talk to. First question that you got to ask them, besides my looks and how much I put out, what would you want from me if I was your girl? Well, shit, if we take sex out of the equation, you can even throw an extra layer on that and say, outside of cooking and cleaning and taking care of the house and raising kids, outside of all of that, what else would you want a woman to do for you in your relationship? Then they start getting with some practical shit. Probably take the extra car to the shop while he's at work, have a couple of his extra uniforms with some creases in them so that he don't go to work wrinkly, and he takes some of the money and go get you and him some new clothes, because he don't never buy clothes, but he needs some new ones, but he don't have the time and energy to go get them. He might tell you some other stuff like do some of the midnight trades because he be forgetting on the brokerage account. You might find a man that'll really be like, damn, if I had a girl that knew how to handle some fucking Bitcoin real quick, you know what I mean? You'll come to find that men be really looking for some valuable women. We just can't find them. So we lower our standards to she's cute under those fake eyelashes because that's the best that we can get. But if you really stop to ask, if you say, well, look, outside of the traditional gender roles that cooking, cleaning, childbearing, raising kids at the house and stuff like that, what would you want your woman to do in your relationship to be considered a good partner? And watch how quick they got you outside cutting grass and digging a hole in the backyard to build a swimming pool. Because everybody needs help in a relationship. Women need help in a relationship. Men need help in a relationship. Men are not allowed to ask for help. Women expect men to know without ever having to ask for help, but no one ever communicates with the other person what the other person needs. So if you start putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and find out what it takes for them to be satisfied, and then see if you're willing to do that, that's when you're able to decide, are you truly a 10 or are you really a 4 with good looks? Special shout out to Puerto Rico. Ray, he's coming in he had to specify the territory of the United States, but so is the Venezuelans. So is Venezuela. So Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States. So is Venezuela. So, I appreciate you for diving in. They're not taking none of your oil. So we going in. So that's one of the things that we have to look into is how do we become a better partner for our partner? Now, one of the funny things is that men have done this survey because over the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years of our life, we have always asked all of the women, what do you want from your man to be satisfied? We always ask. We remember, and a lot of the women say the same stuff. And a lot of the times when we get disqualified by a woman on the first encounter, what she was looking for, I wasn't willing to provide. We have a list of things that we are either not doing or not willing to do that certain types of women that we are attracted to is expected. We know. And if we want to get that type of girl, we're going to have to either decide to start doing that or we're going to have to up our game and start getting there. That's the way we go. Oh, military in Puerto Rico. Special shout out to the military in Puerto Rico. Y'all doing better than the ones that are out here in the United States killing American citizens. So they're saving airfare by killing them in the street instead of shipping them off. But really and truly, I really personally feel like they're doing it wrong. And I'm not even going to go down the same speech I went down yesterday. What I feel like they should do is put them in a box with some holes in it like Garfield did Odie and ship their ass to Aruba. I bet you everybody else will get their act right. You start seeing people going into freights, shipping containers. He said deportation. He did not say how. You ain't got to fly first class. You could be put on a garbage truck and sailed off to another continent and just dumped off, because technically they can go anywhere as long as they're not here. So here's the funniest part for everybody that's getting their ass whooped close to Canada. Why the fuck aren't you in Canada right now? Because Canada's taking in people and giving them passports. So I don't understand why anybody that's not welcome in the United States is still in the United States. If you was not welcome at your girlfriend's house, you sure as fuck would still be there. If she wasn't welcomed at his house, she showed you. Talk about overstay your welcome. They put out a warning that they were gonna kick your ass 12 months ago, and you still here. It's almost like do it, I dare you. And you and I already know, all the Gen Xers that's watching the show right now already know when somebody say do it, I dare you, the extreme comes right after that. Cause you ain't gonna dare me. I'm gonna flip this table and we're gonna turn this into some ECW right in the middle of this cafeteria. We're gonna tear this place down. So I don't understand why. There's deliberate disobedience. Accidents I'm okay with, but deliberate, I don't think that's a good idea. So that's all we have for tonight. It wasn't a lot, but it was more. It was nearly as much as last week. I want to thank you guys for coming to tonight's show. But before we go, I want to say, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. Fellas, I do give you all this information to help y'all become higher value men, because if you prioritize the things in your life that you can control and change the things that you don't like, then you can then navigate around the things that you cannot control. Ladies, while this is a male-driven podcast from the male's perspective, you too can improve yourselves to become higher value women by finding your end goal and then contributing towards and putting effort into that end goal. And if you find a partner that has a similar mentality of reaching that end goal, y'all can work together and get to that end goal faster. That's a good partnership. So one more time, I want to thank y'all for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I will see you guys tomorrow night.
Chase validation, now I validate soul command.